But Renaissance singing, all is well, and all is in divine order. May we all stand. There is an attitudinal approach. Can we say that together? Attitudinal approach to life that makes life matter. That makes me matter. That makes me live out my destination. Thank you. Keep standing. Now we're going to do an affirmation. But it's the foundation of this message, but it's also the foundation of life. And you may say, whose life? Everybody's life. Michael's life, Adam's life, Shanice's life, Leah's life, Brett's life, everybody's life. This is the foundation. This is the attitudinal approach that you need to approach life with. Each and every second, each and every moment, I don't care if you fall into a pothole, you need to have this kind of attitudinal approach to life. And it's a good attitude, not a bad attitude, but sometimes it can seem like it's a bad attitude when everybody else wants you to have a bad attitude and you don't join the pity party. So let's go with it. Oh, here it is. I deserve the best life has to offer. Not convincing enough. Now let's do it my way. Things ain't going my way. Attitudinal adjustment. Attitudinal approach. Attitude matters. I deserve the very best life has to offer. I am a brave and confident spiritual being. I possess all the power of God. I constantly embrace love, trust, and faith along my journey. I confidently ask the universe to conspire with me to affirmatively answer my prayer and meditation. I want you to look around at somebody and say, be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. You may be seated. I hate the assumption that people make when they say, be careful what you ask for because you might get it. Now, most of us pray and meditate and ask for things that we've been looking for a long period of time. Is that right? And we're waiting for it to be revealed, to be demonstrated. And then at that moment, we're getting ready to make the ask. Somebody sends up a warning signal and says, be careful what you ask for because you may get it. And in the process of receiving what you asked for, you may not be ready for what you asked for, what you prayed for, what you meditated for. But I've come to the belief that when we're given gifts, we're ready to receive those gifts and to unwrap those gifts and to share those gifts with the world. And so that's where we are. And so the question becomes, don't be careful about what you ask for, but make no mistakes about it. It has to be consistent with the spiritual being that you are. Climb into a higher and higher level of elevation to consciousness, to super consciousness. And so now we move into that space of being super conscious. And with that super consciousness comes a superpower. And with that superpower, we move away from the consciousness of being limited. And in the space, we say, what are you eating? What are you taking in? What are you digesting? Jesus said in John 4:34, my food is to do the will of him who sent me and complete his work. All they asked Jesus at that moment was, can we get you some food? It was a long day. They had traveled far, and he had given messages throughout the day. And all his disciples and others want to know is, Jesus, are you hungry? Can we feed you? Can we bring you some food? And his response was that the food that I need to nourish my mind, my body, my spirit, my actions, my behavior, you don't plant in the ground and nourish them and then give them to me. It's food of thought. Do we know what thought is? Thought is the beginning of the manifestation process. We deal a lot in unity with what do you want to manifest. But understand, manifestation starts with thought. Manifestation is thought brought to completion. Complete the journey, complete the assignment. Jesus wasn't interested in any other food than nourishing himself on the Word. And the Word was a constant message, a constant flow of energy that said you can tap into more. You can be more, do more, have more. And that's the food. So I ask you again, what is your food for thought? What are you taking in that's providing you with thoughts, that's consuming your thinking patterns? And then those thinking patterns become your behavior patterns. And then those behavior patterns become limiting or limitless to your experience. And so we ask you again, what are you eating? What are you taking in? See, life is this thing that's full of suggestive moments. Can we say it together? Suggestive moments. Things are suggested to us. We take in millions and millions of suggestions per day. And we have to decide whether we want to take the suggestion or not. I suggest to you that we trust God. You can trust God or not, right? I suggest to you that we make friends out of our neighbors. You make enemies out of your neighbors. I suggest to you that you follow the 10 Commandments. You don't have to follow the 10 Commandments. You can throw them away. I suggest that you take the world as your oyster and allow things to be manifested for you, through you, by you. See, there's many suggestions, but every suggestion leads to this thought pattern in the aftermath of taking the suggestion or leaving it alone, and then you find yourself in a situation, well, if I just had, what if I had? I shoulda, I woulda. If anybody ever found themselves in that situation, that mindset, in retrospect to some suggestion that was made to you about a principle, an idea, a thought, a behavior pattern that you should invite yourself into, and you didn't take it, and there you are finding yourself, I know I should have did that. Intuition brings about insight. Intuition is that feeling that we have, that premonition, that we should be doing something that we're not doing. Anybody relate to that? That intuition, that sense of knowing that there's something I should be doing right now to advance my purpose, to advance my cause, to advance my agenda, to advance my goals, to advance the things that I want to manifest. Intuition. Into it, I go. That's what intuition is. It's a calling, a sacred calling. Into it, I go. The intuition is calling you into a space of sacredness where there's power, dominion, and authority. That's a collective union between you and the Christ Spirit that lives within you. It's a union of one. I had the opportunity yesterday of seeing one ask a question. An angel asked a question of another angel. Will you marry me? Will you marry me? Will you take me in? And we create this bond, this agreement, this alignment that we are one. And we'll approach this life as one, a powerful collective source. I'd like Shanice and Adam to stand up right now. I had the fortunate opportunity to be there yesterday morning with Leah to see Adam. ask a powerful question. Adam, what was that powerful question? My mind, I'm 60 plus now, and my mind just doesn't work. What did you ask?
Will you marry me?
You asked what?
Will you marry me?
Will you marry me?
Yes.
And did the universe conspire with you?
I think so.
Woo! So she said yes? Did she say yes?
I said, of course.
Of course. Congratulations to Adam and Shanice. It's interesting. I was listening to Greg Braden, and he was talking about how now we're in a situation where you can have heightened hope or heightened fear. This is a time in our history where you can have heightened hope or what? Heightened fear. And he says, because everything is coming to us fast-paced, but it's coming at us in extremes. Extremes. Think about it. You see it all coming to us at extremes, at this fast pace. And everything for us now is coming to us in pictures. It's coming to us in videos. And we don't know what to do. It's coming to us in sound bites. And in those sound bites, we really don't know what's going on. What's the backstory? What's the history? In those pictures, we really don't know what's the history. In the videos, we just see a clip of what's going on, and we make interpretations. But it's this whole idea of we're going to centralize everything and make it to the extreme so it evokes an emotion from you. And that emotion that draws you in most often is not the emotion of power, it's the emotion of fear. And if I can sell you on the ideas the world is crumbling, the world is falling apart, you'll buy into that. And with that buying in process, I can sell you a product that will change your life in 60 days for $19.99. You don't even need a credit card now. Apple Pay, PayPal. Just push the button. Instinctively, the impulsive nature of us is to seek out those things that bring us pleasure because we have the perception of pain. We have the perception that there's more pain than joy now. We have the perception that there's more war than peace. And so with that idea of Greg Braden saying the whole idea is that we really do have a choice. But I always knew that we had this choice. And the choice is always joy or pain, poverty and prosperity, fitness or sickness, love and hate, peace or war, unification or loneliness. All of those are things that we have to decide that we want. What's the lens that we look at the world through? I'm an extreme optimist. Those who know me know that I'm an extreme optimist. Adam's shaking his head like, yeah, that man is never down. I'm down for a moment, and then I redirect my emotions to the truth. And see, I think about that old show. Remember that old show, Truth or Consequences? Remember that? That's life. Either you realize there's the truth, but then there's the consequences of not living your life based on the truth. And that's where we have to be. And so everybody say truth or consequences. And we're at an age and a stage in our life where we know when we don't follow truth, there's consequences. And that goes for everything, the spiritual, the mental, the physical, relational, the career. It all matters what we decide to take in. And so it's something I always live by. It's just the third sentence in the Bible. Let there be. Let there be light. And what is light? It's just the illumination of truth. That's all light is. I'm in darkness, and my cry is to live in light. Illuminate the pathway forward. Let me know that as I take those steps forward, there's love, peace, joy, prosperity, happiness, the relationships that I want, the career that I want, the job that I want. So we just say, let there be. And I wake up every morning with this idea, this concept, this construct of let there be, let me be. Let there be, let me be. Let there be, let me be. Let there be a path forward. Let me be courageous enough to take it. That's what it's about. The courage, the bravery, the faith to say, let there be a path forward. Let me be courageous enough, brave enough, filled with faith enough to take that path. See, a lot of us feel that there's a path forward. There's an answer. Where there's a will, there's a way. But it's crossing over that line of doubt. The doubt line deceives us. So many times we take that step forward and then we look to the side. And that's when the soundbite comes in. We hear the voice, we hear the song, and all of a sudden we believe that the world is darker than it really is. I'm still convinced, Adam, there's more good in the world than there is evil. I'm looking around my community, and I'm saying, these are good people. They want more, just like I want more. And it's not the world that we want to just collect things. We want to collect experiences that advance us forward. So let's say that together. Let there be. Let there be. Let me be. Let me be. And then we go back. We go back. The mastermind journal, and we say, ask, and you shall receive. Now, this is where we get into the ask, because this is where we go back and we say the manifestation. The thoughts manifest themselves if we go through the process. Brett always talks about there's a process. To manifest, there has to be a thought, and the thought has to be completed. It's not just a journey, because along the journey, we can get sidetracked, but it's completing the journey. And with that, we have confidence, power, dominion, authority. And so all we're asking for every morning is the ability to take all the accumulated experiences, the wisdom and knowledge from yesterday, and reinvent ourselves, reincarnate ourselves, reevaluate ourselves, repackage ourselves, and repurpose ourselves into something that's new. That's the opportunity that each and every day provides for us. But if we cling to that past in the negative, like some people always tell me, well, in the past you did this, this, and that. You said this, this, and that. Oh, you know what? I'm a new man, baby. And that's the tough part, because everybody's looking for the old you, the old Brett, the old Deborah, the old Leah. And they keep looking for it. And they keep waiting. What's that game where you look for the thing to pop up and you hit it on the head? Whack-a-mole. It's almost like everybody's playing whack-a-mole with you. I know the old Glenn is going to circle up, so I'm just waiting for him to pop up and say, boom, there you go. I knew you were there all along. But we can't let that drive our thoughts. My mother was really like anal retentive on this idea of after every meal, you have to wash the dishes. Anybody mother like that? I feel sorry if your mother wasn't like that. You probably had roaches and rats. That's what my mother used to tell us. She used to tell us, if you don't wash the dishes, you let them sit overnight, you'll end up with roaches and rats. And I don't know if that's true, but she drove home a point. But the point that she was really driving home is that if you let those dishes sit, the longer you let them sit, whatever you ate on that plate, cooked in that pot, whatever you drank out of that glass, that residue will leave a stain. And it's tough to get off that stain the longer you let it remain. And that's a lot like life. Charles Fillmore said something that really weds that thought of my mother. Charles Fillmore said, the tendency of humans is that every day we wake up and we dress ourselves. We clothe ourselves. Charles Fillmore said, we should look at life from the perspective that every day we clothe ourselves and we get undressed at the end of the day. And he said that when we undress, we should keep in mind that we should also be undressing ourselves of all the things that we took in from the day that no longer will serve us, that we don't need to go to sleep with or wake up the next day. And so if you wed that with my mother, every day we accumulate residue. Our challenge and our opportunity is to remove that residue as quickly as possible so it doesn't stain us and then make us believe that we're less than what we're capable of doing. So if you understand that message from my mother and Charles Fillmore, you'll come to the point where you begin to ask with a boldness, a sense of confidence. And in that sense of confidence, you ask with the idea of I shall receive. I ask, I shall receive. And be ready for what you will receive. Because it's going to come to you abundantly. And with that abundance comes a lot of responsibilities because you're revealing a spiritual nature about yourselves that most people won't be ready for you. All I asked God years ago was to clean me up. Clean me up and dress me up. And give me the words to speak to people that would advance them. And in the advancement of them, it would advance me. Because there's a love nature about each and every one of you. And I came to know that. As I began to lose people from my life, I began to understand what love was. Daisy was celebrating the anniversary of the transition of Juanita. Juanita was a great teacher. Because when I saw the picture of them at that grave marker, I saw a lot of people there. She was a teacher. My twin Lynn was a teacher. And the greatness of the teacher is that their message lingers on with you. Their presence stays with you constantly. And it's constantly reminding you of the things that move you forward. And so if any of you have ever lost anyone and they stay on your mind, understand that they're teaching, they're preaching, and they're trying to reach your soul and let you know that you're called to a greater level of love, a greater level of life, and a greater level of living. Can we do an affirmation? If we could just stand for this affirmation. It goes back to the beginning of the message when I had you stand and say boldly, I deserve the best that life has to offer, the very best. Why not me? Why shouldn't I be the shining example of what's possible? The potential. Why not me? Reverend Wilman started off the service today saying all of us are here for a reason. And that reason, it's not to hear a history lesson. I've been to spiritual communities, Breton, that give you a history of what Jesus did, what God did. Well, here we are thousands of years later. And what they figured out, I'm trying to figure out still in real time. As life comes to me fast and furious, asking me constantly to make decisions. And sometimes I'm better equipped to make those decisions based on past things I've seen, and sometimes I'm not. I'm walking in the newness. And it seems like every day it's some new possibility. But I'm not sure. I'm not certain if I take that opportunity. Will I lose or will I gain? But then another voice starts to click in now and it says, you deserve the very best that life has to offer. So move on. Move on. Can we all just say move on? Move on. And with that moving, we open ourselves up to the possibility. And the affirmation is simple. The affirmation is consistent. The affirmation is founded on the principles of I'm one with the Almighty. The Christ lives within me, through me, and because of that, I'm empowered to be powerful. That's all I want us to know today. That's all I want us to know. And I want us to spread that vibrational message, Reverend Wilma, to our kids, as you so eloquently opened the door for them to go to school. And Sharnice is saying, let's clap them in. But as we clap them in, let's do it in the spirit of we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that all things are possible through the Christ that lives within us. Can we do the affirmation? And as we do the affirmation, do it for yourself, no one else. Because I believe you at your most powerful state, your highest spiritual being, it can have a rippling effect on everybody around you. So let's do this affirmation for you, through you, by you. Lord, let there be light within me. Illuminate my path with wisdom and truth. Lord, let me be an instrument of love, kindness, and positive change in this world. Renaissance Union, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Thanks for having me this morning, and God bless each and every one of you.